Hi crafty friends, I'm here with you today to share a tutorial on how I made this card. And this is the front. I've taken elements from the Sealed with Love stamp set and coordinating framelits. And when you open the inside, I've used the lovely girls, the dancing girl from Beautiful You. And she seems to dance across the page. This is still in its prototype phase, so we're going to make one from start to finish. Let's get started. So I start with my standard card base, and that measures 8 1/4 inches wide by 5 7/8 inches long, and I've scored that halfway at 4 1/8 inches. Now I have, and this is Sahara sand, so I'm going to mat with sweet Sugarplum, and I've just cut that 1/4 inch smaller. Now I have 2 pieces of designer series paper from the Falling in Love paper range, and I'm just going to adhere using my snail, my bottom piece. I am taking a piece of window sheet that measures approximately 3 inches square, and here's what it's going to look like. I don't know if you can see that. So I'll show you how I cut that. Now I don't measure, I just do it roughly. So starting on one side, I'm going to cut approximately 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to stop 1/2 inch from the end, and then I'm going to turn. So I'm going to cut this 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is what we're left with. So when you have rounded your corners, this is what you are left with. Now to stick this down, I'm going to use my fast fuse on one side. Now I'm going to line up this piece. Now to stick this down, I'm just going to place some fast fuse on here. And I'm going to line up my piece so that it's centered left and right, and just burnish that down. We're going to place something here, and that'll help to disguise that. So right here, I'm going to put some more fast fuse just in this center part of our spiral. Now we're going to glue that down. Remember, we have not put our designer series paper down on here yet. And just burnish that piece in. Alright, so this is what it's going to look like now. So when you close it, that will fold flat. So now to put our designer series paper on here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to center that on there. And I'm just going to take a pencil and put a mark. Now the mark I'm making is where this cut here, where this cut ends. So when I place my paper down, I'm just putting a tiny mark there, Then I'm going to place my Stampin Trimmer down on that line. So that is at approximately 6 centimeters on my one. And then at 6.5, I'm going to cut straight down. So now I can slide my Designer Series paper over the top, which covers our workings. So I'm going to get some snail. And sliding this piece over here and then just glue it down. Now we're going to die cut one of the scalloped ovals from the layering ovals, and I also cut out one of the stitched ovals. Now I'm going to take the stamp from Beautiful You, and we're going to use this sentiment here. And just mount that onto your sweet Sugarplum panel. Now I'm going to add a couple of dimensionals and place that roughly in the center. Okay, so now we're ready for our ladies. So I have stamped in archival ink onto watercolor paper because I'm going to color these in with the new watercolor pencils. And I'm going to use a little bit of Calypso Coral just on her skin. Now, as you can see, there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just laying down a little bit of colour. Now, I like to do all my colouring at once, so I'm going to now go and add a little bit of Melon Mumbo for her dress. So when I use my Aqua Painter, I just dry off the tip using a dry cloth and then start going over where I've laid down the colour. Now you see I went in and added a little bit of the basic grey. That's just to give a little bit of a shadow. Now on my lady, I've decided that I don't want to have the ground showing, so I'm just going to cut that off. Alright, now for the fun part. So to assemble, I simply decide where I want my ladies to go, keeping in mind that we want them to remain within the card when it closes. So for this lady, I'm going to add a little bit of Fast Fuse on both of her feet, and I'm going to stick her feet down onto this part of the window sheet. So when it closes, that remains in the card. So for my next lady, she's going to be a continuation, so I'm going to have her overlapping this foot and coming up to this next corner. The silicone sheet is really good for when you're applying Fast Fuse to a smaller area. And for my last lady, She is coming from this leg here down to this corner of the window sheet. And when you close up, you see only just a tiny little bit of the hands, which I can adjust. Now to finish off the inside, I've taken a couple of the hearts from... Now to finish off, I've taken a couple of these dimensional hearts from the Love Notes Framelits, and I've cut them out in Sweet Sugarplum. So I'm simply going to glue this in place using my fine tip glue. And just place these down where you'd like them. Okay, now to get onto the decorating of the front. Really simple. I've taken the hearts border punch and I'm just going to go along and cut out a scrap and then I have this, so pop some snail down here and just pop that down on an angle. Then using a scrap of the So In Love paper, I am just going to cut a banner end into both ends. And I'll put a couple of dimensionals on the back of this piece. And pop that down. Now I've made a little envelope from the Love Notes set, and I use my fine tip glue to stick down these glassine sheets and just glue that down there. And I have stamped a little insert and die cut that out as well. To use up some of these hearts, I'm just with my fine tip glue pen going to place a little line, and then I'm just going to stick down some of these hearts. Now to finish off, I'm going to pop some glue onto one of the arrows that are also from the Love Notes Framelits and just glue that over my little mini envelope. I'm going to just pop a little bit of glue only onto one part of the top corner of the heart, because I'm just going to slide that on there and let that dry. And just to add a little bit more dimension, I'm going to use my fine tip glue So here is my completed card with the lovely glossy hearts in the Sweet Sugarplum, and I switched over my greeting to the Love Note greeting, and there is the inside of the card with the beautiful girls dancing right off the page. I hope this is something that you try yourselves, and let me know how you go. Until next time, guys, stay crafty. Bye.